Did you know that the American national anthem was set to the tune of a British drinking song? Ah, the sweet melody of irony. When you think of the Star Spangled Banner, what comes to mind? Fireworks, baseball games, and proud displays of patriotism, right? But let's rewind a couple hundred years back to the origins of this iconic tune. Our story begins in the late 18th century with an English gentleman's club. Picture this: candlelight flickering, glasses clinking, and the air filled with the boisterous melodies of a popular drinking song, To Anacreon in Heaven. Now this wasn't just any drinking song, it was an anthem for the Anacreontic Society, a men's club in London dedicated to the wit, harmony, and the god of wine. Decidedly British and decidedly tipsy. Fast forward a few decades. Across the pond, the United States was in the throes of the War of 1812. During the bombardment of Fort McHenry, a young lawyer named Francis Scott Key was inspired by the sight of the American flag still flying at dawn. He quickly penned a poem, Defense of Fort McHenry. And yes, that's defense with a C, very British-like, don't you think? But here's where it gets interesting. Key's poem was then set to music, and the tune they chose? None other than the melody of our British drinking song. That's right, the national anthem of the United States, a country that fought tooth and nail for its independence from Britain, owes its melody to a British drinking song. If that's not a plot twist, I don't know what is. Over time, Key's poem, now sung to the tune of To Anacreon in Heaven, became wildly popular. It was renamed the Star Spangled Banner and was officially adopted as the national anthem in 1931. So next time you hear the national anthem, just remember, it was originally sung over a pint. The Liberty Bell is a symbol of freedom, but did you know it's actually broken? Yes, folks, you heard it right. The Liberty Bell, an iconic symbol of America's independence, is not exactly the picture of perfection. Let's take a trip back in time. The Liberty Bell was commissioned in 1752. It was cast with the lofty inscription, Proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. The first time the bell rang out, it cracked. Talk about a rocky start, right? But the bell's bumpy beginnings didn't end there. It was recast twice in the same year, and then in 1846, the bell was repaired with a technique called stop drilling to prevent the crack from spreading. But alas, on its first ring for George Washington's birthday celebration, the crack spread to over 2 feet long. Despite its flawed state, the Liberty Bell became an emblem of America's independence. But here's the comedic twist. It's famous for being broken. It's like saying, hey, I'm a superstar because my pants split at the seams. But hey, maybe there's a lesson in there about embracing our imperfections and still standing tall. Now, the bell hangs silently in the Liberty Bell Center in Philadelphia. It no longer rings out, but its silent presence speaks volumes. It's a symbol of freedom, resilience, and the spirit of the American people. And the crack? Well, it just adds to its charm. So there you have it, the Liberty Bell, a symbol of freedom, a piece of American history, and a wonderfully ironic tale of a flawed icon that still stands proud. Who knew that a broken bell could become a symbol of a nation's independence? America loves roundabouts, but they have more of them than any other country in the world. Yes, you heard it right. The land of the free and the home of the brave is also the land of roundabouts. These circular traffic anomalies are as American as apple pie, baseball, and, well, getting lost in roundabouts. Why does America have such a love affair with roundabouts? Well, it's a tale as old as time, or at least as old as the automobile. Roundabouts were initially introduced as a solution to chaotic intersections. A simple, elegant design to keep traffic flowing smoothly and reduce accidents. However, in practice, it often feels like stepping into a whirlpool of confusion. Left, right, center, oh my. Let's take a moment to appreciate the irony here. The very thing designed to make driving simpler has become a national conundrum. It's like trying to explain the rules of baseball to someone who's only ever played cricket. It's a whole different ball game. But let's not be too harsh. After all, roundabouts are like the unsung heroes of traffic management. They're out there day and night, rain or shine, making sure we don't crash into each other. And while they might sometimes feel like a maze, they're just trying to get us safely to our destination. So here's to the roundabouts, those tireless traffic circles that keep America rolling. And the best part? The comedy gold that emerges from the chaos. Whether it's the bewildered drivers going round in endless circles, or the adventurous ones taking a shortcut across the middle, roundabouts provide a daily dose of humor on the American roads. It's a sitcom that never ends, and we're all unwitting actors in it. So next time you approach a roundabout with trepidation, take heart. You're part of a nationwide comedy show, and your performance could be the highlight of someone's day. And remember, even if you do end up taking the third exit instead of the first, it's all part of the fun. After all, isn't life just one big roundabout? Next time you're stuck in a roundabout, just remember, you're not alone. We all know George Washington as the first president, but did you know he wasn't technically the first? Now don't go rewriting your history books just yet. I'm talking about John Hanson, who was the first president under the Articles of Confederation. Yes, you heard it right. Before the Constitution was signed, sealed, and delivered, the Articles of Confederation were the law of the land. And under these articles, John Hanson was elected the first president. Now I know what you're thinking. How come I've never heard of this guy? Well, poor John Hanson doesn't get much of a look in because his presidency was under a completely different system. It's like being the first person to invent the wheel, only for everyone to remember the guy who put it on a car. So next time someone asks who the first president was, you can surprise them with your knowledge. Nevada is known for its casinos, but it's also the state with the most ghost towns. So let's take a detour from the glitzy casinos and flashing neon lights of Las Vegas and head into the dusty roads leading to Nevada's ghost towns. Now, these aren't your typical haunted houses with spooky specters floating around. No, sir. These are abandoned towns that once thrived during the gold rush era but now sit eerily quiet, with only the wind as their constant companion. Back in the mid to late 1800s, Nevada was a hotbed for gold and silver mining. Thousands flocked to the state, hoping to strike it rich. Towns sprouted up overnight around the most prosperous mines, buzzing with life and activity. But as with all good things, the gold rush came to an end. The mines dried up, and one by one, these once bustling towns were abandoned, left to the mercy of time and weather. Now you might be thinking, how ironic is that? A state known for its lively cities like Las Vegas and Reno also holds the record for the most ghost towns. But wait, the irony doesn't stop there. Some of these ghost towns like Rhyolite and Goldfield were once as vibrant and bustling as Las Vegas is today. They had their own theaters, hospitals, and even stock exchanges. Can you imagine that? Today, these ghost towns serve as a stark reminder of Nevada's boom and bust past. They're like open-air museums frozen in time, preserving the history of a bygone era. And while they might not have the glitz and glam of Las Vegas casinos, they certainly have their own unique charm. So the next time you're in Nevada, why not take a break from the slot machines and poker tables and take a trip down memory lane? You might not find gold, but you'll certainly strike a rich vein of history and nostalgia. Who knew that the state of glitz and glam also had a ghostly side? Let's recap the most interesting facts we've covered today. Remember when we talked about America's national anthem? Oh, say, can you see how it was actually set to the tune of an old English drinking song? Then we moved on to the Liberty Bell, an iconic symbol of freedom with a flaw that makes it all the more endearing. It's got a crack that's been there for over 2 centuries. We also learned about America being the land of roundabouts, with Carmel, Indiana leading the charge with over 100 of these circular intersections. And who could forget about the real first president, John Hanson? Despite George Washington's fame, it was Hanson who first held the title under the Articles of Confederation. Finally, we ventured into the eerie yet intriguing ghost towns of Nevada, the state with the most abandoned settlements. And there you have it, folks, some funny and fascinating facts about America. Stay tuned for more.